What the fuck is that? Whatever we want to talk about, we're going to talk about it. What's up, guys? Corey here with another episode of E for Explicit Podcast. We talk about anything and everything, no matter what it is. We cover everything. I don't really give a shit about whatever we want to talk about.
It's going
down. Exactly. My man Dominic Weeks.
Yeah.
In the building.
Yeah.
Good look on coming through, my man.
Man, appreciate you, family.
Man, seriously. So I've known Dominic for a minute. We haven't seen each other in quite some time. So when I met him, he was cast and it was an actor.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, bro. He was playing
it's a minute ago.
Yeah, that was like 2011 or 12, I believe.
Yeah, that was like minute ago.
Yeah, that was legit. But now you're big into finance.
Oh, man.
Right? So like I'm always seeing you post shit about like credit score, how important it is like to get your credit up and like all this stuff. And I am so interested in that stuff. Dude. Because like there's so many myths and things. It's like oh, this will affect your credit, or this is how you build this, or this is how you get a house. This is like there's so much shit to know, and it's like, yo, like
where do you start?
How do we do this? Like, you know what I mean? So like, give me a little bit of your background and what you're
doing. So definitely thank you for being on, for allowing me to be on the show. This is amazing. Just seeing this guy's growth. My boy Corey, man. We're gonna turn it the fuck up. The whole thing started really where I grew up, and my dad was very instrumental in kind of who I am today. And so I always saw my dad. He was working outside and doing odds and end type jobs, really with plants and stuff. He was a big plant guy.
Green thumb, yeah.
Green thumb. And so one day, he used to give us allowance monthly. And one day, I think I was 13. We're getting like $60 every month. And so at the time, $60 went a long way because I didn't want much.
Yeah.
And so as I started, I think it might have been Sega. Sega might have came out, or I think it was the first PlayStation. And I was like, Dad, can I buy? He's like, no, I'm not buying that. If you want to make some money, you can work for me. And so that was my first real job, because I did like a lemonade stand before, but he would be hating. He'd be like, man, you're not making no money with that. So my dad said, look, I got a client who's willing to pay $300. He was like, what I need you to do is you can cut the grass. And it's a couple acres. It was a big ass yard too. Yeah. So I cut the grass, and I have allergies. Like my nose is like running, and I'm like, oh fuck, And so my dad, he's in the car, like he starts chilling, like he's laid back. So the job is finally done. He goes to collect the money, and he gives me $30. He's like, the first lesson in business is always know your worth. And I never forgot. That was a brutal lesson, but I never forgot that since then. And so at 14, I had 2 jobs already. I was working at Chili's. Then I started working at the movie theater. And I just had this passion. I wanted to be rich or be known, because I wasn't good at basketball. I wasn't good at any athleticism. That wasn't me. Passed over me totally. And so that's where the spirit for me was born, to really understand how money worked and how I could get more money legally, of course. So so transfer that till today. Just being able to help people, whether it's with their resume, whether it's with their credit score, financial planning. It's just been really, really amazing. I never thought like I'd be in a position to help people and give advice to people. So yeah.
That's awesome. So like Black Affluence is that where that's the umbrella, or that is
the conglomerate. So this is a very interesting story too. I'm at my second job, and the guy that he's like working the leasing office. I work as a concierge. And so we just started talking about like, man, all of this financial literacy is missing in America in general. Like nobody told me about credit cards. Nobody told me about mortgage and all these things that come with being an adult. And so I was talking to him about that. He also agreed with me, and he was like, you know what, we should do something about it. And I was like, yeah, we should do something. But I think we shooting the shit. Like, and he's not really serious. Yeah, that's it. So he actually started to get serious about it. He was like, let me come up, because he does graphic design on the side. He's like, I can come up with a logo, and came up with a logo. And he was like, we were trying to think of like different names. And I was like, well, I want to do something for our community, Black community. Yep. But I said, we come to black dollar, black da-da-da. So I finally said, well, let me look up some different synonyms for rich, because I didn't want to do it like rich, wealthy. Yeah. I was like, I said, affluent. So I was like, black affluence. He's like, yo, that kind of goes. Yeah. And black affluence was born last May. And so literally we went from an idea. And the same day we made Black Affluence, this lady that lived at the apartment complex, she was like, you know what? I have a homeless program, and I'm trying to help teach the homeless students about financial literacy. Can you give me a quote for your services? Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? like literally the same day. And I was like, this is amazing.
That's how it works.
This is the universe. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's literally how Black Affluence was born. Like, we didn't even sell a product. We didn't sell a service. And people already were like, hey, I fuck with you guys. We like what you guys are doing. Can you come and teach? Can you come? How much is this? How much is that? And so now we have 3 places that we use to do our workshops and bring together entrepreneurs to talk about financial literacy. We have our Instagram actually starting to make money now. That's awesome. People are asking for our shirts. And again, this is under a year. This is not even like, 2-3 years in. We had a meeting with the mayor's office like a month ago. So stuff just started to just go crazy. And I think really it was the fact that they saw like, yeah, these black guys are serious. And it's also a huge demand for financial literacy and people in that space, which is just not that many people. Yeah. And so, yeah, so that's how I started.
That's crazy. It's wild how the universe does work like that.
Yeah. It was crazy.
That is wild. But you're right though, because I know even in the black community and really in general, man, people just like they don't teach you, especially in school, man. Like they don't teach you. I know I had one accounting class by accident. I think I took it, and it was like I learned how to write a check in that joint. But it was like, it wasn't like
who even writes checks anymore. But it's good that you learned it.
Yeah. But I kind of already knew from my mom. She taught me how to write checks because back in the day it was like
that was a thing. Yeah,
you paid at the grocery store with a check. Like, it was crazy. But they don't teach nothing like that. Like credit score, none of the stuff that's really gonna matter.
Nope,
when you get
they teach you nothing, man. Yeah. Like literally, I mean, I as an educator, I've been an educator the last 8 years, and I was astonished that students didn't know like anything about like, one thing is savings and things like that, budgeting, and I will say that's, I'd say that's slightly introduced. But it's not really a push for it. It's not really like a class that you take. And I think the earlier the better, because if you look at the rates of retirement, it's terrible. Like people are living way longer. That's fact. And so you're living longer, but you're still not reaching your dream. You're still fucking working. Like who wants to fucking work and take pills all day? Like that, is that the American dream?
Yeah, you're right.
And so, and then it's this myth and concept that we'll stay at one job the rest of our lives, and that the job actually cares about you to contribute to your retirement. And that's just not the case. I tell people all the time, just helping people, that you never stop learning with your skill set. Like you have to utilize your skill set because shit changes. We saw that Trump in his cabinet, like, hey, we're going to close the government down. And now you're fucked. Yeah. And so you never want to be in a situation where you're like, what do I do? This is all I know. And there's so many people that they get into a great job and then they work the job for 10 years and that's all they do. That's all they know. Yeah. They never go take any classes. They never increase their skill set. And so 10 years down the line, the job says, hey, we're folding up and we decide to get rid of you, which happens
all the time.
You're fucked. Yeah. Because now you have to go back into the job market with younger people that will work for less, that have more degrees, that have more skill sets. And now you're fucked. Yep. And so again, like I said, the best possible outcome is using your own skill sets and increasing your knowledge to budget your money, but also how to make money. How can you make money with this? And everybody has some gift. Like this fucking setup right here, this is way advanced for me. I was thinking a camera phone.
Hell no, bro.
This guy, hey, look, Corey goes all out. This is amazing. It's set up like this is fucking skill sets. And so, it's really about applying ourselves and being able to also learn our skill set to make that money so that we can command that dollar. And so I think that This shit's not being done, man. It's not being done. Yeah. It's a sad case and scenario. Student debt is continuing to rise. if you're not gotten by student debt, then you got credit cards. Yeah. You're not gotten by credit cards, then they got you in the car for the next 10, 15 years, you're paying that off. You're not gotten on the car, then you got your house. Yeah. You're paying that shit off. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, how do you start to live the life that you really want? You know what I'm saying? How do you get that financial freedom?
Yeah, that's a big deal. And financial freedom, man, is like, that. It's so funny. Entrepreneurs, whoever, like they're always like, "Yeah, man, financial freedom. This is why I want to do this." But it's like, do you even know how to get there? Like, because who was it that I was listening to somebody and they were talking about, literally what you're saying is like, you know, I forget what it was. It was
might
like
have been Robert Kiyosaki.
I think it was, man, because he was saying something about how like, you know, you get in this like rut, like you said, like the 9 to 5, the job you work for these years.
Gotta go to work.
And then you either quit or you get fired or something happens. And
that's it.
But you have like you have your car note, you have
that's
your
it.
Yeah. Oh, and they were talking about so people that get into the finance industry, some people they're like, oh well, I want to get into it for a couple years, like the stock market or whatever. But
I got so much material.
Yeah, but like what's crazy is like they were saying how these kind of people want to, like, yeah, I just do it for a couple of years. That's not the kind of energy you can just do for a couple of years, because those people relate to each other like, oh, I got the Rolex, I got the Bentley, I got this, I got that. And once you get those things,
that's it.
You have to maintain those things.
That's it.
So then you can't quit and just be in and out.
You don't want to go back. There's no fucking reason to go back. And I'll tell you this. So I started off, one of the biggest books that changed my life. Very simple. It's so easy to read. I call it the basic business Bible. Is Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Because literally he breaks down the way to become wealthy. And it's not through work. It's through putting things in place that have a return on investment. Yeah. It's a psychology. That's really what it is. That's what the whole book is about. So he has this poor dad who's giving him a bad psychology, even though it's with good intentions.
Yeah.
And so then he has this rich dad is like, fuck that. Follow this system. Build your wealth through these assets that return on things that return on your investment when you put your energy and your time into it. Whether it's your business, whether it's your real estate, whether it's stocks, whatever it is.
Streams.
It's streams of income. Yep. So you're not killing yourself.
No.
I hate going to work. I hate it.
Yep.
Because I have to answer to somebody, normally, which I don't like. Then I have to talk to people. I don't like to really talk to people.
Yeah.
I mean,
like to do your own thing. And
I like to do my own thing.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I don't have the freedom of choice to do as I please. I want to wake up. I want to drink my ice cold lemon tea. I want to watch Netflix with a bad bitch, and I want to retire. Should I be hung on the cross for that? Like, so if I'm not doing those things, then I feel like, damn, I'm selling my soul.
Sure, yeah. And
so I feel like that's the passion behind why I do what I do, because I want to put myself in that position. So next thing. So a good friend of mine, this guy actually is a teacher, literally good friend of mine, known him for years since we went to Bowie State. He teaches me about stocks. Mm-hmm. Always wanted to know about stocks. Never looked into it. I was like, man, this is blue magic. Nobody could do, these Wolf of Wall Street numbers.
Yep.
So literally this year, a month ago, he says, hey, bro, there's this rubber company. They make rubber called VYST, VyStar. They trade on the OTC market, over-the-counter market, which is not fucking Amazon and Apple and Google.
Not the big shit.
Not the big shit. This is very, very small company.
Yeah.
This company is worth per piece or per share under 1 penny per share, all right? So the company released, hey, we're going to be doing this deal, that deal. The company runs from under 1 penny to 17 cents. Now, that might not sound amazing, that like, oh my God, but he put $2,000 in it.
Oh, damn.
Well, now $2,000 is worth, at this point in time, $100,000. And it actually was at $150,000. And it ran down back. It went from 17 cents back down to about 8 cents right now.
Even so.
This is on fucking, this, you can Google this. Don't take my word for it. This happens so frequently. In the last month, because I've been trading stocks the last 3 years, I've called in the last month, 5 stocks that literally were under a penny went to 3 to 6 cents each. So if you would have put let's say $1,000, we spent look, you go on vacation for $1,000, it's a lot. $1,000, but guess what? You put $1,000 in, you would have returned at least, let's just say $6,000 to $7,000 per stock that you have traded from the alert I would have gave you. This is so real.
This crazy.
Is so real. It's crazy.
Is it penny stocks?
This is penny stocks. But see, people don't teach you this.
No.
And and again, I've been in stocks for 3-4 years now. So it's not like I learned it overnight.
Yeah, it took a while.
But when you learn to identify the patterns in trading, you can do extremely well. I know this guy.
Yeah.
It's not like somebody told me this. I know this guy. I also looked at the stock myself. This shit happens all the time.
That's crazy. He's a teacher?
And there's a teacher. He is a teacher.
He teaches what? Economics or what?
Oh, he teaches 5th grade math.
Oh.
So he was like, bro, like, I can't even believe this shit, bro.
Wow.
Then on top of the $100,000, this was before I told him about the one I found. I was like, bro, man, check out this company called SIML. Mm-hmm. This company, I don't even know what the fuck they did. But it's... It's under a penny, bro. I said, just put. So he bought it in at 1 penny. It dropped, so he lost. I think he put in another $2,000, so he lost like, let's just say half.
Sure.
Stayed there for a few days. Another thing is patience with the stock market. Can't be
do it now.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You can't be panicking.
Yeah.
Just relax. Literally went from half a penny, went back to where he bought it at. A week later, it was 5 cents. So now that $2,000 is worth $10,000.
10, yeah.
So that's
crazy.
That's what I'm saying. But see, what happens when we take our money that we've earned, we put our money into a what? Bank, savings account most of the time. Do they teach us that?
No.
Do they give us a course on financial literacy? So the bank takes your money, then invest it in the stock market.
Yep. And then make billions of dollars.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So even if I get 5% on the $1,000, it's money I didn't have to work for.
Yep.
Then on top of that, when you say, hey, I want a house, I want a car, what do most people do? They borrow from the bank. Mm-hmm. Does the bank give you free money? They charge you interest. So now I've lent the money. The bank is going to use that money, charge me for that money, and then on top of the money that you owe them, they're going to invest the money to make more money. It's a fucking scheme. Like everything that we've been taught, that's why I'm mad. Yeah. Because if I had known this shit when I was 13, 14, I could have saved up 2 to 5 to 10K. You know Tim Sykes.
Yeah.
The story's fucking real. These stories are fucking real, man. And again, people say, oh, man, it's risky. But they go to the fucking casino.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's risky.
And even buying a car is risky.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like
you don't get no return.
No, it's crazy when you look, oh, I bought the car for $30,000, and then when you look at, at the 6 or 7 years that you've paid it off, you're paying almost $50K for it.
Thank you.
What?
You don't get
a Benz.
You're paying more than the fucking car's worth.
Yeah.
So again, don't tell me it's risky.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, have I lost money in stocks? Yeah, I've lost money in the stocks. Have I made a lot of money? Yeah. And that's the reality. Like, at first, I was skeptical. I said, oh, no, nobody could do this. So if nobody can do it, how can you take a company like Amazon that IPO, initial public offering, when it first came out, 97, if my dates are right, came out for, let's just say, $2. The company, 15, 20 years later, is worth fucking
billions,
$1,800 a share.
Yep.
So the growth on that, again, will tell you right there. And not even just $1,800 a share, you get paid twice with the big companies. Not just the stock price that goes up, you get paid what? Dividends.
Really?
You get paid to hold the big companies. That's why. So if you want to play conservative and you're saying, hey, I'm not going to get, because of the smaller companies like the OTCs, they're risky because they go up and down crazy. The bigger companies pay you for your conservatives. Like, oh, well, if you want to hold 15, 20 years, we'll also pay you. It could be quarterly. It could be semi-annually. It could be annually. However you want to set it up. But again, the stock market is a way to fucking get out of the rat race. I don't know why people can say, oh, it's risky. And I'm like, there's risk to everything.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? There's ways to manage your risk. And that's what you understand once you start trading long enough. You start to see the same type of patterns, the same type of setups. And I'm telling you, somebody make fucking $100 grand?
Yeah, off $2,000.
Off $2,000.
Crazy. I can spend $2,000 like
I'm saying,
like,
you spend $2,000 on all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So there's no reason. And this guy, like I said, we're so excited. We just opened what we call the Trader's House. The Trader's House will be dedicated to providing these type of alerts, because one big thing in the stock market is, if you have a team of people that know how to analyze a chart, you can do so fucking well. If you look at a movie called The Big Short,
yep.
they have a team of guys that analyze the charts, that research the news. Another guy does the numbers. This is so real. You can do fucking extremely well.
Well, they predicted the
there you go.
The collapse.
They made so much money. And the crazy thing is, it's not even the fact that you can make so much money, but you would assume that most people probably say, oh, I know about Apple, I know about Facebook, I know the stock market. I've taught this, so I know most people know about the stock market. But the bigger stocks, you're not going to do those type of numbers. Yeah. That's why people turn to the OTC stock or the penny stock market, because shit happens. Like, I mean, I've seen a company in 2 days go 3,000%. This is when I first started trading. God. It's called Here at Last Holdings, HRAL. I'm giving you what they call the stock tickers or the stock nicknames.
Yeah, like just the acronym, basically.
Acronyms. Yeah. This company said, hey, it's some shitty shipping company. And they said, Walmart, they said, hey, we're going to partner with HRAL. Well, we know Walmart. We don't know HRAL, but what are people going to do? They're going to buy HRAL. It skyrocketed to 3,000% gain. So for every $100, I think that's whatever 3,000% of every $100.
Oh, my God.
It was fucking phenomenal. The second crazy stock runner that I saw was when Oprah brought Weight Watchers. And she didn't buy the whole company. She bought a stake in Weight Watchers. 10% stake. And that happened like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And my aunt, she was working at Jenny Craig, and she knew about it beforehand. She knew about, like, let's say a week before they announced it. That's how another people, like, that's called insider trading. Yeah. That's right.
Is that illegal?
It's
Martha
fucking
Stewart. Martha Stewart went to jail
Martha Stewart went to jail. If people find out. Now, luckily, I didn't trade that company. But, again, I knew about it before it happened. And so the stock was $6 at the time. And I think it was 6-7 months. Now, Weight Watchers, obviously, I think it was trading at $6, which would made it slightly bigger than normal companies I trade. But 6-7 months later, the stock was $80. Oh,
my God. Just share. From Oprah.
Just from Oprah saying that she's going to buy into the company. Because what does Oprah have?
Yeah, she touches anything. Gold. Don't? Yeah.
But what does she
a platform.
She
and money.
Platform. Yeah. She has an Oprah magazine. So if I'm partnering with Weight Watchers, what do you think I'm going to do in the magazine? Yep. She has the own network. Yeah. So it's smart. It makes so much. If you're a person that really enjoys analysis, you enjoy reading, you have to get in the stock market. I can't stress it enough. Like it's so much money that's made. This is just the stock market. We're not even talking about the Forex market. We're not even talking about options. We're not talking about futures.
We're not talking about any of that shit is. Oh, I know what cryptocurrency is.
There you go. So you know what happened with the Bitcoin thing. And so I'm not personally into cryptocurrency, but I know people that were, and they timed it. And the crazy thing is, my dad told me about that. He was like, yo, you need to buy this thing called Bitcoin. I didn't see my dumb ass. Oh, man, I don't know about that. I'm not going to read into it.
I got a story on that shit. Yeah. So I did a documentary in 13 or 14. Before it blew up, right? And the filmmaker's name's David Fuchs. He's out in L.A. Hired me like $2,000 a day.
David.
Did you really?
Yeah, I swear to God. It's Fuchs. I heard that name before.
He's an artist. He's a really talented artist, but he did a film. It was in Sundance. It was in South by Southwest.
I swear I heard that name.
So he made this film on Bitcoin, and he was like, do you mind if I pay you in Bitcoin? I'm like, fuck no. I was like, I don't know what that is. I was like, $2,000 a day, give me that.
That's right.
5 days, I'll take it. I don't want that shit.
Oh,
sure enough,
fuck, bro.
recently, was last year or 2 years ago, it went it blew up, and like all the people that I know that were mining and all that stuff, made so much bread, and I would have had it for like. No, I would have got it for free.
Oh man!
And it would have had it at like,
dude, you would have been multi-millionaire. 100%.
I know.
I'm fucking pissed for you.
I was so mad, bro. I texted him. I said, "This motherfucker."
God damn! I know, dude, because the shit was crazy. Because I think people just never like. I think it was already out.
It was the blockchain, all that shit was out, but
nobody
was
was really using.
No one was like, "Yeah, this shit."
Yeah,
it was very like downplayed, obviously, because there's a lot of negatives that go with it. Obviously, the government doesn't want because it'll decentralize everything.
Decentralize everything.
But man, I shot myself in the foot big time.
That shit went hell. Like I'm mad as shit because like my dad was like, "Yeah, man, buy that shit," and I was like, "Nah." I was like, "I don't even know what that is." Like I never looked into it, never thought about it. Like and it went crazy. Like it spiraled. Like people would, "Oh man, we doing the Bitcoin this and this." Yep. And I was like, yo, it went down.
It went down after that huge spike.
Huge spike, but it literally crashed.
It went away.
So I don't know where it'll be like in the future. So I really do. If you look at this movie, it's called, I think it's Justin Timberlake in there. You see Justin, I think Just in Time or In Time. In Time. And so Justin Timberlake.
With the scanning joint?
Yeah. But I think that's how it's going to be, though. Like, I feel
for sure. They already got shit like that.
Yeah,
where it's
like with Apple Watches and shit, you just scan your card and shit. So, like,
they ain't putting a chip in me, though. I ain't doing it. Government's going to be
make
like,
sure Corey, we know his whereabouts.
Yep. No, I ain't about that life.
That's right.
Hell no.
Nah, we ain't doing that shit.
That's crazy. But so I want to talk about, I think, like we said earlier, there's a lot of misconceptions. I think, so I got Credit Karma and shit. Like I think I'm tight. I'm like, oh yeah, my credit goes up. Like I've noticed that when I use my credit cards, because I don't really use them that often. I only use them for certain things. So I just recently found out that your credit utilization or whatever. Like say you have $1,000 credit line, but you don't use it. That looks way better than if it's like 90% used, right? It sounds smart, but I've noticed my credit score jumps like 80 points when I have like my $2,000 limit, not like when it's down to zero. Yeah. But when it's like close to being all the way up, my shit the next month is like crash.
Yeah. Anytime you use over 25 to 30% of your credit card and you start going over that amount, you actually start losing points. So you don't want to exceed. So if it's $1,000, that would be $250, $300 that you would want to max out at.
That's crazy. Then why wouldn't they just give me like?
Yeah, I mean it makes sense, but I don't know what the rationale behind that is. But it is 25 to 30% because what I would have is I had 2 to 3 credit cards, but they were almost maxed out, and so my credit score was like I think like low 600s or whatever. And so it really took me a few months to really get that shit up to where it is now. Yeah. And so I'm proud. Like for me, it's fun just because I was like, damn, I was in the 600s and, it just feels good. I mean, you don't really, I don't think need an 850 or anything, but I just wanted to achieve that shit.
Yeah. So I saw you be posting this shit like whenever, which is interesting because that's kind of like it's almost like, oh, what do you not talk about? You don't talk about politics. You don't talk about how much money you make, and you don't talk about like shit like that.
See, that's again, it's going back to the fact that we're so conditioned, and we're so used to playing in this safe and conservatism, and it's not getting us anywhere. It's really not getting us anywhere if we're not getting uncomfortable. Like for me, numbers come very comfortably,
your shit.
Yeah, like, and that's just what I've been good at. To stretch something out in something of to stretch out in another area, like let's say technology. For me, it doesn't come as easy with the hashtags and my business partner. He's always like, man, use this site and this can do that. And I'm like, bro, I don't. I grew up with no technology. I have technology. I mean, I'm savvy. I can figure it out, but it's just not as easy. I can't get it as easy.
It's not natural.
So, like, I get that part, but I'm always open-minded, and so I don't mind jumping out there and failing a few times and to get my start. And I'm so happy I did that shit, like with stocks and just doing things with my finances because I just wouldn't be in the place I am now if I had not done so. Yeah. And I think that even without the stock thing, I jumped out when I started my first business because I always wanted to have a business. I always wanted to do something and figure out how I could literally work less. And I read that book. It's called it's not the 24-hour work week, the 4-hour work week. Tim Weiss. Amazing fucking book. Changed my life, how I like viewed, because I was like, yo, I'm working 2-3 jobs and it's
80 hours a
draining.
week. Man,
that's right. Yeah.
Why
Like
am
I
I
don't
a
want to
millionaire
go
yet?
home and work. You know, I'm drained.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I need to cut back on this. And then I was like, okay, the next book I read was Starting a Business. I think it's called Start a Business for Under $100 or Under $100 Startup. $100 Startup by Chris Guillebeau. One of the fucking best books I read, because before I thought that to start a business I needed thousands of dollars.
Yeah, you need investors. And
you know, like and
capital.
you don't need shit. Like I literally started in 2016 my resume business, and that was the change in my life, because before that I literally remember the day I started it. I was a teacher's assistant. And so I was struggling, man. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like I'm trying to get these degrees and everything was just like, I kept robbing Peter to pay Paul. My credit cards was up. And I was really just like, I'm not living my best life. I'm going to work just to pay bills. I hated it. So I decided, I was like, what is something everybody needs? You know, taxes. Most people struggle with taxes. I was like, well, I don't want to do that shit. I just, I want to do something where I can literally work from home and work when I want to work. And the solution came, I was looking online and it was resumes. So I was like, well, you know, I think they quoted like resume writers as a side job and then gave an average of like $7,000 a year. I was like, well, that's not bad. I said, I could use $7,000. So I started writing resumes. I knew nothing about writing resumes. So it took me about a couple months to really just research.
Oh
study.
shit! So you didn't even know anything about it.
I knew nothing.
And you're about to start a business about doing it.
And I started a business about doing it. I ordered my
crazy.
business cards. That was a crazy thing. I ordered my business cards from Visa Friends, like $25. The only investment I spent on my business,
you spoke it into existence.
Thousands of dollars.
That's
like,
crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
Isn't that crazy? It literally changed my life. A business I didn't even know anything about. It took me 2 months to learn and changed my life forever.
That's insane.
And so, like, I'm still doing the business because it's such a great business because I enjoy writing. And that's something that I was like, hey, I can work with somebody in California. I can work with somebody in Texas.
Yeah,
you never have to talk to me.
You're not in the box.
I can take payments virtually. You don't need to see me to give me a payment. So I was like, oh, I had that set up. So, and then it was just like, most people, I was like, I can cook the resume up, rechange it. Most of the shit is online. So it's just like where you have to look and how you write the resume. Most people don't want to do it. And
that's really what it is.
That's it. That's really what it is. So really, I found something that I was like, yo, people, it's a consistent demand. 2016, at any given time, I had $2,000 in my pocket. People
Just
thought I was selling
resume.
drugs. I never had that much money in my life.
Wow.
At one given time, selling resumes, because people just sending me money. Plus, so once the wheels started to turn with the resumes, I was like, oh shit, I want to start another business. So I said, what else am I good at? I said, well, I've been in education. I said, so my boy that taught me stocks, he was tutoring at the time. He's like, bro, man, I'm charging like $35 an hour. And I never made $35 an hour. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to charge $35 an hour.
All right, yeah.
And I realized I enjoyed that. And so the wheels start turning. And, it was the first time, like my parents raised me, never bought me any name brand, like never. So this is the first time I went at Aldo, I went into J. Crew. I just went in, hey, I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she's like, you want credit card? Credit? No, I have all cash. What? And people really thought I was selling drugs. Like I'm not a flashy guy where I pretty much
minimalist.
I'm a very minimalist. Yeah. But for me, that was the change. Like this is actually real.
Yeah. And
now the change for me now again is like the stock market, because I'm like, this money that I've been able to accumulate. I don't want to continue to work hard. Like that's the whole mindset is I could do 30 to maybe an hour, 30 minutes to an hour of analysis, and I could take that money and reinvest it into these stocks. Even if I double my money, it could take. I've seen shit go in a fucking week.
That's crazy.
3-4 times. I called a stock. It's on my Facebook. If you go Dominic Weeks right now, it's on my Facebook. SIML went 500% gain in a day.
And so, like, okay, so if it's the day before it goes like that, and you put $1,000 on, and it goes up 500, you can pull it out and be like, oh,
Any given time you
Really?
want to pull your money out, it's your money. And so, you know, if you've invested in a stock, of course you have to sell the stock because, you know, you still own it, you still bought it.
Oh, so you have to sell it to somebody else.
Well, no, you sell it to the market. So it's just like you've seen in Wall Street, people have the papers. It's electronic now. So, you know, the stock is going up, going down, going up. If it's at the value, if you bought it at $1, it's at $2, you can sell it. If it's at $1.01, you can, you know, sell it because it's still worth more than you bought it
for. Got it.
You can sell it even at a lower value, but
you're gonna lose money.
You're gonna lose money. So the idea is that you want to obviously hold your investment.
So
you have
buy low, sell high.
Buy low, sell high. Simple concept.
Yep.
Simple concept. So the idea for me now is to take that money, to work less, to reinvest, because I'm like, if this guy can take $2,000 and make $100,000,
that's.
Then I'm like, and he's already he bought himself a Corvette. He's
going in.
He went in.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, I'm in a Corvette, and this is like a guy I grew up with. Like, it's not anybody that got a PhD and a master's.
Yeah, he's probably making maybe 50, 60 grand teaching.
Thank you. Yeah. And so if he can do it, there's no possible way that I can't do it. And so that's where my mindset is now. It's like work less and to ensure that, again, that I'm able to provide for not just myself, but my family. Like, we should have trust funds set up. I just went to a session on trust funds. Like, that's a whole nother process. Like, all of these things that people don't tell us of how to leave a legacy for our family and to prosper in life is not told to us.
No.
Oh, don't talk about that. Talk about the game.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about the game. Who cares? Like, I don't care about the game. Tell me about something relevant.
Yeah.
Tell me about something that's going to put me on another level. And so that's the people that I want to connect with. I think that's the whole purpose of me doing and having involvement in Black Affluence. And just being able to help people, man. Who wants to struggle in life? Like, we want to, you know, that guy, Dan Bilzerian?
Yes, man.
I want to fucking live like him.
Yeah.
Why are we not living like Dan? Why?
Yeah, that dude's wild, dog.
That dude is wild, but he's living his best life.
Yeah.
I want to live like
he had like 3 heart attacks in like a year one time because he's just wild. But no, he played poker and shit like that. But he flipped his money.
Thank you.
And he used it in different. And now he uses his persona.
And so that's the type of, but the lifestyle. Yeah. That's the lifestyle I want, Corey. Like, I want to be able
in
to
Dubai in the desert.
That's right. I want to just do shit just to do it.
Yeah.
I want to be that guy. Yeah. And so again, I don't want to be super. I don't have to be super rich or anything, but I don't want to go to work.
No,
I don't want to work.
Financial freedom, and everybody's financial freedom looks different.
There you go.
But what was it? The average millionaire has I think at least 7 streams of income.
Yeah.
Which is like, you think about it, it's like you didn't know anything about resume building.
0.
And you made a stream of income. That's 0. 1. 6 more, and depending on what they are, it's
and that's
crazy.
The thing, man. It's like you would think like it would, like it's a course or it's the most basic things, like, turning Instagram into a business. Yep. Like, I'm like, we're literally promoting on Instagram. Like, I would never think people would buy things like, certain things and I've seen everything being so, like, now your eyes are open when you first start to create. And that's the fun part about it when you actually are becoming a creator. And so it could be anything. It could be, or you expert about soap or something.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Me and my kids, so this is a funny story. We watched a slime
Your kids,
video.
What do you mean?
Classroom kids.
Okay, yeah.
Classroom.
Sound like you got children.
This will be my last year of education.
Yeah.
But we watched a video on slime. This girl, she has, I think, 8 million to 10 million
on YouTube,
views
right?
on fucking slime.
Bro.
Corey, on slime.
Bro.
I'm pissed.
I know. I see, like, my nephew, him and his little brothers and stuff would watch, like, kids opening up toys on YouTube. Bro, they got like 50 million views. This kid's like 8 years old making like $1 million a week.
I cannot.
Yeah.
We're thinking way too hard.
Yep.
Because that's the next market I really am passionate about is the youth, is the young children. Like, when I tell you as a teacher, I get so frustrated when I can't find great videos. There's this guy online right now. His name's Jack Hartman. When I tell you this guy is so smart, he's genius. He has hundreds of videos talking about numbers, letters, colors, sentence structure for really young kids. And that's very hard material. That's quality to find.
Interesting.
And then when you go to the video, he drops his website. You go to the website, got CDs, shirts, albums, tapes. And this guy's touring. He's touring around the world.
So wait, so he's making videos, like tutorials almost, on how to do stuff.
Google this guy, man. This guy is so genius. And it's an older dude.
Is it free? Is he selling this
videos?
Free.
It's a free video, but when you go to the website.
She's like upselling you when you get to the website. Got it.
Go to the website. And Cuckoo Kangaroo, another, they just dance for kids. Because a lot of times in the classroom, we'll let the kids do what they call a dance break. To just break them out of the monotony of learning.
Yeah. These
dudes are touring around the world.
What?
The Wiggles touring around the world, and it's JoJo Siwa. This girl, you heard of Britney Spears? This girl has 500 million views on YouTube. So it's the most basic things that can make you a millionaire or multi-millionaire. It's crazy. Ridiculous. And really, what I found, Corey, is you have one of the biggest things is the marketing and the visualization for people. And if you can make it fun or exciting or like this right here, this is dope. This is simple. It's dope. And I am telling you right now, it's fucking genius. So come on, man. Let's go. Let's go. E for explicit. You know what up? Yeah. What up, man?
Nah, but you're right. And I like how I've always pushed like and told people that we work with, clients that we work with, and really anybody that video is, I mean, it's like, and we also live in a time now where, like you said, people can be a millionaire talking about slime. Like, that's fucking crazy. And the fact that you can use visuals and you can, you have those platforms out there that you can monetize and you can use your creativeness and just that stupidest shit. And yeah. You know what's funny though is I talked to a friend of ours, Christoph, and I used to think like, oh, I got to get rid of this 9 to 5. I haven't had a 9 to 5. Well, okay. I was a creative director for I Love Kickboxing, which is a fitness franchise. Yeah, but I was doing video. I was visual. Like exactly. Under, you know exactly. I wasn't like yeah. So I was 9 to 5, salaried.
Okay. Cool.
But I was doing video. I was doing my passion. So I was like, even before that, I was like, I ain't working a 9 to 5. That's why I moved to New York, freelance, just was killing it. Yeah. And then he was like, I think about it like this. If you're working a 9 to 5 and you're still trying to be like an entrepreneur and stuff, look at it as like your job is your biggest investor. They invest in you every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And I was like, that's damn, real. All right. That's like, I've never thought of it like that. And like, if you kind of look at it like that, I was like, damn, that's like mad smart because, okay, say you make, $2,000 in a week or every 2 weeks or something like that. That's $2,000. That's $4,000 a month. That's $4,000 a month that I'm getting invested in. As long as I can keep my bills and everything below that, everything else is butter, and it goes into my other ventures. There you go. But I never looked at it like that. I never thought of it like that.
So I have another formula. The formula, the way, and I just told my ex this. Anybody that knows me, like that's probably the biggest thing. I'm a big sharer. I'm a big person I want the people around me to do very well. Sure. And so that's why I'm ending my teaching job because it's too, I love teaching. I love working with the younger children, but in the classroom, the stock market opens at 9:30. And 9:30, that's our reading time. Yeah. That's our math time.
You can't be doing that.
I can't look I need to be in the market. Gotcha. Because I'm like, this is thousands of dollars. Like I need to be in the market. Yeah. So for me, I want people to, if they don't take anything from me, use their job to fund their passion or to find their passion and fund their passion. I have to go, I'm going to have to get another job, but what I'm going to do is I'm looking for a job where I can sit at the desk. I have a side job that I sit at the desk to literally take calls. Most of the time, nobody bothers me. I get there 7 in the morning. I leave at 3 in the afternoon. Now, 7 to 10, I'm doing classes online. Maybe it's 7 to 8. 7 to 8 hour classes. Digital online, lynda.com, ally.com, all these other stuff. 8 to 9, I'm looking up stocks for the next week. The good plays. I'm putting the graphs together. 9 to 10, I'm working on Black Affluent things. So again, I'm using their printer. I'm using their ink. I'm using it.
Yeah, you're not having any overhead.
I'm not even working yet. So maybe they get an hour or two a day that I actually do work.
Yeah.
But I'm getting paid to do it. So there's nothing wrong with working a job if that's your passion, fine. But if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, there's nothing wrong with working a job, letting that pay. Find those times and those spaces where you have dead time and utilize that time to get to your dream. My ex, she quit the classroom, couldn't take it, took a pay cut. But because of our relationship, I've been helping her. She has her first grant writing business. So now she's starting to do very well. Got her Instagram out. I'm teaching her about stocks, not because, because I want her to do well. She's like, she's been in my life. She's a positive person.
Sure.
I want her.
Yeah, you want her to do well.
I want her to succeed. But it's so possible. I gave her a couple positions, gave her a couple resumes. She doesn't like doing resumes, but she likes writing grants. But I said the reason why I did that was because now she can start a virtual business. Yeah. I said, how many nonprofits need grant writers? If they're paying people $40,000 to $60,000 to be a grant writer, you might be able to subcontract under that for $10,000.
Yeah, and just hit like 10 of them.
Exactly, and line 4 or 5 of them up. And again, you're working on the time and doing things that you want to do on your time. Yeah. Not on somebody else's time. Not when they tell you to do it. Come into work. The guy that just made $100,000, my good friend, literally, he tells me this all the time. He's like, man, when my back was hurting, I needed surgery. I asked my supervisor for a day off. Oh, when you coming back? Yeah. Not, take the time off you need. I'm in the classroom every day, 8 hours a day. Yeah. 8 hours a day. I'm drained mentally, physically. Put that time into your business and your passion. Find jobs where they're not looking over your shoulder. You can find time, dead zones, and get into your passion of what you want to do. And that's my message for anybody that, if I can encourage anybody out there that's listening.
Well, that's a good message. And I live that too, and I love that. So, where can people find Dominic Weeks, and we're on all your social media platforms?
You find me all over the internet, man. D Weeks 2000, primarily Instagram. D Weeks 2000. That's on Instagram. Black_affluence. Black_affluence. And then my new dating business. I just started a dating business. We were talking earlier. Very excited about that. That's Jaja, JAJAKOBINA on Instagram as well. Mm-hmm. We're on Twitter. We're also on Facebook under those same hashtags and scores and all that stuff. If you can't find me there, I give out my direct number. Like Grant Cardone says, I never miss a call. 301-910-3480. I feel like Mike Jones. Remember he used to do that?
Yeah, who? Yeah,
I know,
908.
So call my phone number. I do resumes. I tutor. I also, I'm doing my dating book. Very excited about that. And if you want to learn about stocks, I just focus on stocks mainly. I don't do options or Forex yet. Hit my phone.
Yeah, no, that's it. Thank you for coming through, and I think
that song was dope.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you did, because I've been wanting to do this with you for a minute, because I'm so interested in the finance piece, because it's always been almost like a fucking myth to me, man. I'm like, what works, what doesn't? So I'm really glad that you came through, and I really appreciate it.
I appreciate the opportunity, man. Like, this is amazing. I've known Corey for a minute. Just been a grinder. I've seen his work, very quality work. And so, man, I'm just honored to be on E for Explicit.
Yeah, boy. You come back. You're going to come back?
I got to come back.
Yeah,
I got to come back with a team. Shout out to my business partner, Xavier Snow. Shout outs to my boy that I was talking about, Sean Pro. Shout outs to my other brother, Willie Hayes. So, hope y'all doing well, man. So, what it is. What up?
On the live.
Oh, yeah, man. I got a lot of people that join in. My boy Caleb Williams, too. Another powerful dude. If you want to know specifics, that's the guy.
Yeah, link him up.
So, I got you, man. So
good luck. All right, guys. So, thanks for Dominic coming through and talking about finance and all that stuff that, they never really taught us back in the day. So, I really appreciate that. That's been another episode of E for Explicit Podcast, and we'll see you next time. Peace.